is going to have the cooldowns necessary to keep people alive. And then, I don't know, it's tough. Of course, that gateway does get off immediately. Let's see how the Warrior is going to handle the start of this, because this is going to be a rough situation for him. As you can see, they're trying to grab the tomb, but they still have to push up for that Warrior to be able to do damage, and this is what's going to happen. This Lock Shaman Druid.
We already see a PvP trinket out of Badcat there. I think he may have trinketed early fear, probably trying to utilize all his cooldowns. Blukstack does trinket there as well, taking a little bit of damage, not too much CC onto Boetar though. Both teams just kind of retreating back. Paladin running in, uses his trinket. This is Ascendance. I mean, both these teams are actually going pretty crazy right now. We might see a really early kill, but both teams just kind of mirroring each other's cooldowns, trying to match offensive cooldowns, defensive cooldowns. Yeah, as you can see, the Paladin, sitting really far back, having to Wings and Holy Avenger. Badcat, of course, taking a lot of damage from that Shaman. Oh, as he's going to Temporal Shield, so he's going to heal back a bunch of that damage right there. Aura Mastery comes out as he's able to spam out that Poly. Boetar is counterspelled also. So Blukstack is definitely the target again as he gets disarmed. So we have the Paladin who's going to try to keep his team up right now. Hasn't had to bubble yet, but he did have to trinket a little while ago, so he's not going to have that active. Right, as you can see him cycle through the second set of cooldowns right there, having that Angel out with Divine Favor as Badcat. That's a good offensive clone right there. That's going to keep him low. These are Angel heals right here. These are the heals. This is the time when he has to heal, and if he's in a Cyclone, he's not able to do that. Again, doing a good job sitting at the pillar, trying to avoid CC. Does get spell locked or shocked there. So Badcat's going to be in a little bit of trouble. You see a lot of damage on him. Yeah, this Paladin is getting locked pretty much constantly. It's a rough time because he had those few seconds where he couldn't cast. Look at the hit point bars. He just rots down from all that dot damage. Definitely. And again, the LSD looking solid. I mean, not dropping too low. Blukstack's going down to about 70%. He's in a stun right now. We see a sheep onto Swapxy, full fear onto Boetar. Trying to do a little bit of cross CC there, which is good. But again, one of them just trinketed and he was able to tremor him out of it. Not able to make much happen with that. Yeah, and they can play defensive whenever they want. Of course, Bleach Bones being able to play the entire starting room and having that gateway, as the point of mobility. As we see a block come out from Badcat, his pet is also dead. This is not looking quite well for LKD on this map. Definitely not. I mean, Boetar still has his trinket up. They're just playing very passively, very confidently. We see the bash onto the Paladin there, into a full fear. Very nice. He is going to trinket that, so he's not going to have that available. But again, we see a good root onto him too. He's going to be stuck over there. This LSD playing very well with their cooldowns, locking that Paladin out. Yeah, and the Paladin is falling so far behind as he gets Cycloned. Half Cyclone right there as Henbai is almost... he's going to be killed through this. This is crazy amount of damage. Those dots coming up, and we don't see too many casts quite yet. That's another spell lock right there onto the Paladin. I mean, he's going to be in big trouble here. Hanbai's feared. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to get his cooldowns off. Badcat's low. Their whole team's dipping pretty low. You see... the mage, Badcat, is trying to split up the damage. He's putting a lot of sheeps on a Swapxy, trying to break up their damage a lot. He's doing actually a good job. They're playing well. They just have to play too defensively through this. They really do, as we see that shockwave come out, but it didn't do too much as they are going to go on Blukstack, and this is actually a decent amount of damage. No cooldowns out of Henbai, though. He forced them to port back. He didn't really use anything, so that's good. At this point, though, that ring... Oh, I like this ring. Oh, it wasn't a full ring. That would have been a great ring right there, as Badcat is going to... That was his second block right there, so he's going to be in trouble if he gets switched to, and I don't think he has a pet still. That is a full sheep onto Boetar. Blukstack does not have a port up for a few, but... again, at Warlock, he's been real tanky the last couple games. I don't know if they're going to be able to score a kill on him. Yeah, and I'm surprised the Paladin is still keeping his team up at this point. Yeah, this Paladin's actually playing very well right now. I mean, he's getting locked, which, I'm not quite sure about, but his positioning and his cooldown usage seems to be pretty solid. Yeah, absolutely. He's being really greedy with those casted heals, trying to get those quick divine favors off and stuff instead of, juking a whole lot. And there he goes, gets locked again. And this is when his team is in trouble, as you see dots on all targets, as we see a temporal shield again from Badcat, doing everything he can cooldown-wise. He just got shocked. Had the bubble right there. Had to use his divine shield. Badcat in a full clone. Not looking good. I mean, without the bubble, Angel's coming out too.
Yeah, I like to see that you see the Cyclone constantly onto Badcat every time that the Paladin bubble comes out, as we see.
Looks like they're trying to do something onto Boetar here. He does use his bark skin. He's not going to have that up for another swap if they decide to go on him. I think that is the right target. I think they need to make more swaps to Boetar.
Yeah, they really do. They haven't been putting a dent into his mana whatsoever in any of these matches. And Blukstack, it's a good target that they can sit on constantly, with that warrior damage. But, if Boetar's not pressured, there's no point, as Boetar is in a full deep, followed by a full poly, still has his trinket and not choosing. He's just going to sit straight through this, as Blukstack has an orb on him, so he is going to be taking a lot of damage. But again, look at that, sitting through the poly completely, followed by a fear. This is a good crowd control chain.
This is a good crowd control. It does get tremored there, though. That again, I mean, that's what makes a difference right there. Having that one extra break, it really just breaks up a lot of the damage. Something that could have been a lot of momentum gained just completely gets negated. Paladin doing a better job right now, moving back. Seems like he is going to get a fear. Great Hodge right there onto him, sprinting away, doing a really great job positioning-wise of avoiding CC.
He really is. As you can see, Badcat's pet still really low, 2%. He's just probably going to rot out at this point, barely surviving as still at 2%, no heals coming out. Of course, the Paladin having to worry about way more important things. Badcat down to half right now as that fear ends on to the Paladin. He's playing way in the back right now. They didn't do a great job of taking over the tomb. Of course, the Warlock is going to be camping on top of that. And that stops the Paladin from having his way, playing on top of that, using that for LOS.
Interesting thing to note is that, they went on Boetar. We called it about a minute ago. They got Barkskin. They got him to 50%. They haven't touched him since.
Yeah.
I really feel like, I know they're under a lot of pressure, but I feel like they need to kind of coordinate getting themselves back topped again and then making those swaps to him without Barkskin.
Yeah, this is rough because Hanbai isn't able to push up because they are playing across the tomb. I don't know about this positioning, especially with a Paladin. I mean, he knows he has to sit back, so he's not...
Hanbai dipping very low right now,
even
through heals.
All right, and the Stormlash Totem coming out. They're trying to get the massive amount of damage as you see Rally, Shield, everything coming out from that Warrior defensive-wise.
Whoa, and Badcat dipping really low. Might need a block. Gets the block at 5,000 health.
Wow, that was crazy.
Very close.
Yeah, and the Paladin does have his trinket back up, so he'll be able to break the next CC chain that starts on him. But maybe this was the right call to play pretty far back. But it means that every time, there we go, every gateway away, it just completely stops all offensive pressure.
There's
Seems
the
like
full fear again onto Boetar. Does get tremored out. They're trying to make something happen on Swapxy here.
Henbai has Recklessness up right now. He's trying to make something happen onto Swapxy. His Nature's Guardian procs right there as he is getting kind of low. Boetar still has his trinket up. NS, we see NS coming out. But Swapxy still not getting healed up to full as he is stunned by that shockwave.
Yep, and Boetar's going to be sitting that deep right here, but he's going to there's not too much follow-up with CC right now. He's on Sheep DR. There's no fear up right now. This is where Swapxy is vulnerable, but Boetar's not in any crowd control danger at all.
Now, actually, if this game continues to go on longer, it actually might play into the favor of LKD. Of course, we are about 8 minutes in, so that dampening has already kicked in. It's probably at about like 8% right now, 9%, maybe 10%. So that's a large amount of extra healing that the Druid has to deal with.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, the Paladin on LKD is not doing too well mana-wise here. Really struggling, but doing an impressive job of keeping his team up through all of this. I mean, it's extremely rough.
Yeah, he can't really dispel this dot damage without worrying about dying himself. And of course, Swapxy taking a lot of damage again, but every single time that he is focused, he's just running away as look at the dot damage as the die by the sword comes out. A fear onto Hanbai. The Paladin is trying to play max range right now, which means Hanbai isn't able to push up as offensive as he would like to be.
Oh, and the Paladin could just go down here. Huge damage, spiking him low. He's going to try and get the cast off. He has to cast. He gets locked. He goes down. Such a good job. I mean, he's really playing a really great game, but just gets overwhelmed, and they just catch him into a quick silence, and he just goes down.
And that's it. Yeah, Bleach Bones.